live from Ingleside, San Francisco, California. And I am here with Rose and Lucy.
Hey.
And we're from the Dames Don't Care Motorcycle Collective, which is actually a collective for all types of people and all kinds of motorcycle riders. And behind the camera we have our lovely Miriam. She's our AV nerd, as she called it. I'm a co-founder with Abby, and we started this many years ago. And so I've been riding for...
Since you were in diapers?
Getting on 16 years, which feels like a lot.
Yeah. I'm Rose, Bay Area native. My family moved to San Francisco when I was 5 years old. And, so any San Franciscan is going to say, what high school did you go to? John O'Connell. So fuck off. Okay, so that's always the test, right? And I have been riding since I was 17. I'm not going to say how long ago that is because dames don't care how old we are.
That is true.
And I am Lucy Carrera. I moved here, I don't know. But I've been riding for 20 years and I'm a mechanic in the city and I recently opened my own shop.
Yay!
Before we get into more of the stories, I want to establish some ground rules and sort of respect for the podcast and also for kind of who we are as human beings. So I would like to do a land acknowledgement and why do we do a land acknowledgement? It's a big part of where we live in the United States it has been taken over by colonial powers, and one thing that the dames care about a lot is being actively anti-racist and actively in support of our siblings who are not in the top of the power structure of the United States. So I would like to acknowledge that we live and play on land that was actually stolen from people called Ohlone and Miwok. I recently learned that these were names assigned to them, Ohlone and Miwok, and they have thousands of different names of their own, and they're still here. The indigenous people of the Bay Area are still here. They're still fighting to retain their indigenous lands, to actually get some of that. One of our favorite rides is to go up to Point Reyes Station and around Tomales Bay, and there is actually a fight right now to try to save an indigenous family's house from being torn down by the National Park Service in Tomales Bay. So I'd just like to point out that indigenous rights and indigenous ideas are not something that happened 200 years ago. Ongoing, we also go through like what our pronouns are. I personally like to use she, they. So in general, I have a she pronoun, but I really like the they pronoun as well, because I feel like the they pronoun is being a woman motorcyclist and being a tomboy, basically from birth. In our toxic patriarchal society, they is like the best way for me to express that I am not gender role conforming to the patriarchy. So my they pronoun is my fuck the patriarchy pronoun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, it's almost like my dame's pronoun.
I think I use my she in the same way.
Yeah.
Because fuck
cool.
you for whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just going to look over here.
Yeah.
But if you're, it's the same. I mean, if you decide that that's what you're going to say, then all right, let's go. Because we were going over here. Can't we just keep going now?
We can.
Sure, yeah.
We can.
Yeah. All right. Now I want you guys to actually follow us. So follow us on Facebook at Dames Don't Care, and if you're an Instagram person, it's Dames Don't Care SF. But then we also have a third, which is Dames Do Care. Want to tell us about that?
Care. So, Dames cared. We cared for a minute. And we actually still care. We realized we do care, actually. But the first time we realized we cared was at the beginning of the pandemic. And what we saw was a need. And we fulfilled that need using our motorcycles and our people. And It was delivering masks.
And other PPE.
And other PPE, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I saw a picture. It all started with a picture, okay. It started with a
Full
picture.
photograph.
It was a picture of this chick in New York, and she had black leathers on, and it was nice. She had a black helmet and black, face shield, and it was at night. It was New York, and she had a bag of PPE. She had a bag of masks because she was delivering. She was hightailing it through New York, delivering it to the hospital who needed masks because there were no masks.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God,
We can do that.
we can do that.
We can do that. How did you find out about the crafters and the different
you know
connections
what?
of that?
It turned out that a lot of people were thinking, what can we do? What can we do right now? And all I had to do was stick my nose in it, just a tiny little bit. And we just got carried away in the current of the beautiful movement that happened right at the pandemic of helping. And we just so happened to help with the PPE, the mask thing.
I think that we were like that critical mobile part of the connector. Like one of my I went to a place in Alameda, I picked up a bunch of cut material that had kits and directions in it, delivered that cut material to a home crafter.
Individual sewists.
Individual sewists out in like the Far East Bay, and then picked up finished masks from a different crafter and took those finished masks to a homeless shelter in Alameda.
Yeah, there was an incredible amount of networking and organization that sprung up for free.
Yeah.
I mean, we
That
did it
was
for free.
amazing.
All free.
Yeah.
All
And
free.
all of these people.
We had a GoFundMe for gas.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't just us, really. It was
wasn't.
that entire network of sewists and people coordinating with sewists.
There was
and-
Make Me PPE Bay Area is one of the names that pops up, but I think there was a bunch of others.
Yeah,
too.
there were nationwide efforts. Make Me PPE Bay Area was local, and it just got huge. It was like us, we started off. We said, "Oh, who wants to do this?" And
Yeah.
boom, we had
Everybody-
150
yeah.
volunteers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Make Me PPE.
A lot of
Bay
us were out of
Area.
work.
A lot of us. It was
That's
perfect.
true.
We were
Yeah.
going crazy. We
Yeah.
wanted to ride our fucking motorcycles.
Yeah.
And
For a righteous cause made it feel
a righteous
amazing.
cause. Yeah.
Definitely.
Amazing.
So this kind of allowed you to, right? Because you had like a special sticker that said, "Hey, I'm delivering PPE."
And Emily scored reflective vests.
Yeah.
Reflective
Yeah.
vests.
Yes, we thought
We
we'd
tried
be
to make
safe.
it all really official, and because at first we weren't quite so sure. It's funny now thinking back. We were like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, are we
allowed to
gonna
ride?"
get tickets?"
They said no unnecessary trips. So
Yeah.
we had these cards printed up that said we're allowed to do that, or like
You
this
are
is what
hereby
we're doing.
promised. You are hereby officially recognized. as a recipient.
We had stickers. We had stickers with a really cool logo.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
the
It's super cool. The whole thing was really amazing.
yeah, yeah.
I truly feel like it was one of the most amazing things we've ever done.
I think it was
Absolutely.
And
in
you
the
got
midst of an amazing time where everybody was doing something like this.
Yes.
everybody was helping out.
If they could, yeah.
The shortage of proper PPE for all of
First
the
responders,
first responders
yeah.
and all of the frontline workers.
essential workers.
And then even when the PPE started to come through, it was coming through to the hospitals that could afford it. And I loved that part of the mission of the crafters that we were working with was to support
The clinics.
the clinics.
Yeah.
The clinics that take anybody, not just people with insurance.
Yeah.
The clinic and the homeless shelters. I love that we were, I mean, what a cool movement. What a cool movement.
And it was for free.
All of it, yeah.
And we didn't,
Fabric donated.
Totally.
Sewing machines donated.
Yeah, you delivered
You would
a sewing
know.
machine
You
on
would
your
know.
bike.
Delivered
It
a
was so
sewing
awesome.
machine.
Oh my
on a
God.
motorcycle.
I want
Have
pictures.
Bungees right back here.
Pictures
Have
of that.
Bungees will travel.
I like how you got a lot of the community, the local community involved, like Evan over at Monkey Moto School.
Yeah.
And the SFMC shout out, Ben Berliner was
Yeah, you
big
know
on
what?
that.
Big
You
on
guys,
that, yes.
SFMC, thank you so much because you showcased us. Connie and I got in and talked with you about it. And it was one of the first times that we realized we really had something to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were really a part of, and we needed the community's help,
Yeah.
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 And you really provided that platform. I'm talking to you.
Yay!
SFMC right here.
Miriam am not only a Dame but also SFMC.
Represent, thank you.
Do you have a call sign? Do you have like a finger sign?
For
Like, I used to
SFMC?
be
Well,
like,
me, I'm
this.
a triple M, so maybe.
That's good. That's the fourth
Exactly,
finger.
there.
Don't worry, it's the fourth finger.
Anyway, so it's we're coming down off that high. We've already come down off that high. I'm over it. Right.
Well, the
was hard.
website's moving on.
It dragged on and on and on, and we finally. But then we realized, this is a good. This is a good arm. This is a good way for us to continue doing things that we all care about, because we all fucking care about stuff.
Yeah.
And we have that. We realize that we have a group. We have a power.
We're part of a village. We're part of the global community.
And so
we're
what
part of
else
the San
do we
Francisco.
care about now?
We are caring about being actively anti-racist. Actually, it's one of the things I'd like to start posting on the. Now that we don't need the Dames Do Care as much for the PPE, emergency PPE delivery, I would like to open up the Do Care things to things that we care about in the motorcycling community, like SFMC's carbon offsets, and electric bikes, and also about the land itself, and about being recognizing that like people that look like me are colonizers of this land. And we have a responsibility to recognize that there were people here before us, and not only were they here before us, but they're still here now. The indigenous people of the San Francisco Bay Area and North America, and a lot of the pandemic actually showed us how a lot of the inequities in our culture disproportionately affect the Black and brown people. And I think out of the racial reckoning that happened at the same time as the pandemic, I started thinking a lot more about these things, and think that it's important to put an anti-racist foot forward. This is
the moment.
This is who we are. This is we want to be
Because we're inclusive.
actively.
That's what I was just going to say. Is
Yeah.
That's sort of one of our principles.
Tenets, yeah.
Is that
We're
we are
inclusive.
inclusive.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a total misnomer. The Dames don't care.
Yeah.
Dames and we do care.
we don't care
But
what
I mean,
people
we
think
also
of
like
women on motorcycles.
Yeah.
But also, Dames do care.
So
Right on.
that's now our next phase in Dames Do Care, is that we're going to start with these land acknowledgements and also offsetting our carbon footprint, which we are in the works now. So please look at damesdocare.com for updates, and on there you can join our newsletter,
Which I think
we'll
you
be
just
writing.
volunteered to
which
write.
we will be
Write that
writing.
shit.
We're gonna collaborate,
Which apparently I am writing.
with lots of links.
It will happen.
It totally happened.
We want to do this stuff, and we realize, it literally just takes time
Yeah.
and work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
want to do it, but
Yeah.
Come here.
you just gotta be a little patient.
Yeah,
Patient with us. Be patient with us.
But we do
Patient
want to
with
do
us.
things, and we do want to get people involved.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially more women would be nice.
And
Yeah.
we fucking
Yes.
love
I
women.
need women at the SFMC, man. I'm like one of the two.
The older I get, the more I realize that my favorite people are my women friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I love guys. They're great.
Yeah.
And I love a lot of my
they
guys.
can't quite understand perimenopausal
Especially
thinking.
fucking menopause.
Unfortunately.
You've got ages to go.
No, you don't.
Not ages. Not ages. I just turned 41. I don't think I've got
I
ages.
just read a sentence today that perimenopause, pre-menopause,
10 years of that.
Pre-menopause.
Like 10 years of that.
it turned. I'm sorry.
I think I started when I was 39 with the perimenopause
It
stuff.
starts off
Oh,
a little
no.
bit slow
Yeah.
and creepy,
So
just
so
like
you don't have
puberty.
that long.
You know how puberty started off kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
and you never know what's
One day you
going
had
on.
thighs.
It's reversed.
So let's pull this over from Dames Do Care. We also care about local stuff.
Yeah?
Definitely. So there's some local, fairly local dirt bike schools happening. You
Yeah.
are both going to one.
Right.
I'm going to a
Separate ones,
I'm
but-
going to a different one than you. I'm
Yeah.
going to the one that's run by Meg's Brap.
Yeah.
She's got YouTube.
It's all sold out, but
It is all
here.
but it's
And it
just,
has been almost
it's just
right
women.
away.
It's bring your own bike.
Okay.
Which cut out a lot of the opportunities for a lot of people. But
Yeah.
you do have your own bike, which is
Doesn't
your
he, like,
XR
chill
100
out?
that I have to go clean the carb on.
We're gonna ask you a
thing
bunch more about tech.
You're a
Sure.
motorcycle
Cleaning cup.
technician.
So Mex Brap is a super cool chick who can teach you how to do a wheelie and teach you how to do like enduro training, jump over logs and stuff. And she's starting to have nationwide women-only clinics,
Nice. Yeah.
and I get to go to one soon.
Yeah.
That's very
I
exciting.
think I just saw her on
Very excited.
Facebook doing a 1 foot 180 on a blog.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Badass.
Oh.
She's on
You
her
know,
bike.
Jocelyn
She's
Snow's
got-
starting an adventure bike school in the South Bay too. But that's again, bring your own bike, which of course kind of cuts out me. I've got a K1300S and I've got some GSXRs that
You're not
don't
hopping over
run.
any logs with that one.
I'm not taking
I don't
the
mean to put you
key.
down.
Right.
Put you in a box.
I know. I did get Scorpion Trail 2 tires on it. Thank you. Yeah, from Moto Lucia. But I don't have a dirt bike, and so I am going to the Garahan women-only off-road training that is happening. He has one. It seems like he has one about once a month, and I'm going to go to the June 19th.
That's often.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
really
I looked
cool.
at the calendar.
Do you know where it is? Which?
Yeah, so it's in the Santa Cruz Mountains. No, location to be provided after you have paid. So I think it's actually on somebody's private property. Yeah, in the Santa Cruz Mountains, but it's like Boulder Creek, basically. So it's like, it's fairly close to San Francisco.
Totally.
And it's a gorgeous ride to get down there. And only $325, including bike and gear.
That's
So
amazing.
I was
Totally.
like, yeah, I gotta do that. So yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm doing the women only one.
What
on
bikes
June.
are they? Do you know? They provide like little bike, probably TTR.
Oh gosh, I didn't
230s.
even think to ask. See, you're the mechanic. You'd ask that. I'm like,
It's fine.
I
It's
don't-
fine. It's,
do I
it's
care?
Little bikes, they're good.
you know what? I'm not sure. Oh, like what could I say if it's not a bike that I don't like, right? Like
Say it's a red bike. It's a
What's
green
the-
bike. It's a blue bike.
I'm guessing it's going to be a red or a blue bike.
It'll be dirt colored.
Good, exactly right.
It'll be dirt colored. So, do we have any other local things kind of?
We did, didn't we?
Well, I was thinking about music
Yeah.
recently, and we had sort of pulled this our locals corner out to talk about things that are happening in San Francisco to get us reacclimated to society, which
We're coming
is
out
gonna
in
be
the
dark.
Last night.
We look like fucking witches, which is good. It's a good thing. That's who we really are.
Social life.
But like I've gone and seen a couple things at Winter's Tavern in Pacifica.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think every weekend they've got music, and it's been amazing
Outside?
to see music outside.
Oh,
Nice.
outside.
In light?
Yes, in the light.
Oh, I like a kid.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, I like this.
Yes.
I
Sometimes
think
I-
so. 'Cause, yeah, 'cause
Hey,
they
sometimes I have
serve
a
food.
kid.
Some of us dames are parents.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Children.
Boobs.
That might be.
Are we moving on to the boob section? Because I'm ready.
Shout out to people. This is like Emily said. This is like our first attempt, like our first of hopefully many podcasts.
Yeah.
But like one of
Nice.
the ideas that Gina wanted to hear was what's it like to be a riding mom.
You know, in the smaller women's groups that I've been in, that always comes up, and the mechanics group, that always comes up. You know,
Yeah.
how are you handling this thing? So yeah, that would be fun.
I'm
to
in on
discuss.
this
You've
one.
got something
Yeah,
to say.
we're not doing the
We're gonna look at
she's
it
got the
later.
most number of kids.
The
of
three,
all of us
and
that
I'm
are
probably
sitting
the
here.
oldest. I'm probably the oldest of everybody. So menopause, we can talk out later.
But we will have.
there.
So we might have. We're gonna have features coming up of like camping, moto camping as a person with a vagina and a pee hole. And
I
all right,
know.
are we gonna do our tech corner now?
Oh really?
Okay, to me.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna take a quick break and take it right there. Speaking of tech,
Me?
computer tech, we have Facebook, Dames Don't Care. We have Insta, Dames Don't Care SF, and we have website, Dames Do Care. But we're gonna do a little tech corner now. So this week we're gonna do, or this month, or however many times we do this podcast.
Infinitely.
Yeah. So we're gonna do breakdown of the week, which I volunteered to share my. It's not supposed to be an embarrassing story.
Breakdown of the week. Oh, a nice.
Yeah,
I
so
like
this
it.
our breakdown of the week is so it's not supposed to be an embarrassing story, but I'm gonna be vulnerable here and go ahead and share how I kind of fucked this thing up. So, what happened? Riding through San Francisco, just normal ride through the city, all the twisties up to Sutro and stuff. There's doing some construction up to Sutro Tower. Probably down to South of Market. I probably rode over some kind of construction site at some point. I'm not riding a whole lot because I'm working from home. Come back to the bike a week later. Back tire is completely flat. Completely flat, totally. So I put the bike up on the center stand and roll the tire through, and I see this like head of this Phillip head sticking out, like just barely past the surface of the tire.
We all know what you're talking about.
I
We've been
got
there.
screwed. Oh my
Screwed.
god. Yeah. So
Nailed it.
I started like so I got some pliers and was just trying to like just pull on this screw like it would just slip out. Dude, the thing was like 2.5 inches long. I had to actually get a Phillips head screwdriver and back the thing out of the
I've done
tire.
that, yes,
It was
yes.
freaking screwed in there, and it was like sideways. And I had brand new tires. I had just gotten new Scorpion. So part of me is like thinking maybe it didn't actually. I mean, clearly it punctured because the tire was flat. But I'm thinking like maybe it didn't go on that far. Anyway, so I happen to have because I've done this like cross country trip, and so like what do you do when you go on a cross country trip is you make sure that you've got emergency roadside supplies. And so in my emergency roadside supplies is the stop and go pocket tire plugger kit for tubeless tires. This was recommended. I have a K1300. BMW has a pressure sensor in these tires, so you cannot use foam tire refiller things in these because that will ruin the pressure sensor. So, and I even
Never use foam.
I was gonna say, I've heard things.
Yes.
It's just if
Master
I'm gonna
Mechanics
change
says
it,
never use foam.
It's for me. It's for me. I mean, the foam works,
Do me a
right?
favor.
It does. Just it's messy. It's terrible. It's horrifying.
It's horrifying.
You could use ride on. You know,
What is right on?
right.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you more about that in a second. So I followed this is my first. I had taken like a roadside maintenance class like 2 years before at Moto Guild, and I had done like I thought I did a good job, but it'd been like a couple years since the class, and so I'm like reaming. That's what they do call it, reaming. I'm reaming out the hole on the tire. I did figure out to put the bike in gear so that the tire wouldn't spin while I was trying to work on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good step.
Yeah. Yeah, put the bike in gear.
It is.
But I must have been a little too aggressive with the reaming out and ended up with like I got the plug in there finally. And also it was really not as easy it wasn't a matter of just like pushing the plugger into the tire. I actually had to use like a screwing motion, which took me like a while to figure out that you have to use this like screwing motion to get it in there.
So this is a mushroom style plug,
Exactly.
not a snake style plug.
It's a mushroom, right?
Okay.
So you put the mushroom into the tool. You have to like ream out the hole first, and then put the mushroom in the tool, and then and the tool itself has to poke through the tire. But it does. But like every time I pushed into it, it was like the tire would go in as well. It's a rubber, right?
Because it's flat.
It's flat, and
it's a soft tire.
And it's a soft tire, and it was flat, and it was also like it just seemed like that the hole was smaller than I had this weird feeling that the reamer was smaller than the tool that's supposed to plug the mushroom.
Well, it is supposed to be tight.
It's supposed to be tight.
Let me say this.
Yeah.
There is a steep learning curve with
Thank
using
you.
how to plug your tire. With
Thank
learning how to plug your tire.
Because it didn't go well.
Rose, you had 2 big holes in there.
I did. All right, so we'll get to the rest of this story. So I was waiting. So I got like one of the plugs through, and then went to fill it up with the air because the kit comes with the CO2 things, and it wouldn't hold. I could still hear it. still hear it. And I'm like, what happened? Realized that I had actually made two. And the original sideways hole that I started to ream out, I actually had crossed it with another straight in hole. And so I got a second mushroom in there. And so I had two mushrooms
You
in
didn't
there.
have the best flat. You didn't have the best scenario to start with. I mean, the
Yeah,
perfect
because it was
scenario
sideways, yeah.
is right in the middle, perpendicular. You
Right,
know?
and it was
And
not.
You had some sideways action, and
Yeah.
it crossed through like a tread pattern hole. in it
Exactly.
also.
So it was weird.
It was weird.
And I was like, oh, anyway, after like 4 or 5 hours of working on this thing, I was just happy to get the thing filled so that I could take it to Lucy's new shop, Moto Lucia, and get it
To
fixed
Moto
properly.
Lucia.
So please tell me, Lucy, when you took that tire off, what did it really look like in there?
Dude, there were two holes. there was the original crazy angled hole, and then there was your second reaming hole.
Yeah.
And I could see how it happened. And at first I thought, oh, that's fine, I'll get them where they intersect. And the two, no.
No.
So
I don't think I would have trusted it
I
anyway.
had to get a new tire.
I
I'm
did
so
have to get a
sorry.
new tire.
But I saved that tire like we discussed, and I think that we should practice.
I think that would be
Because-
great.
That is great.
I donate my flat tire. I think that we should absolutely practice doing more of these tire plugging.
It is
Definitely.
hard.
Yeah.
Definitely.
There's a
I've done
learning
it
curve.
once and it worked, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
you never know.
We should
if you-
practice these like sideways ones. Like, what if it's not a? Because of course, when I practiced a couple years before at MotoGill, it was like straight in. What if the hole was just straight
Right.
in? Like, let's do some weird.
Yeah.
Because the
they're
treads
not all
stick on it.
patchable.
And then this is a good thing to
Sidewall,
learn.
no way.
They're not
Right,
all patchable.
No way sidewall. And honestly, this stop and go pocket tire repair kit, I do love it.
Yeah.
Because
It had
once
everything.
you do the third, I'd say the third actual plug, even if it's on that same,
Yep.
the same repair you're trying on,
Yeah.
by at least the third time you've got it,
Yeah.
and you know it's in there. Now I've recently watched, that who's that guy who makes all those videos, and he went through every single tire repair style out there, and he decided that this was one of the least
Least good.
the least good.
The least good.
The
Wow.
least good in the long run.
Okay.
It has one of the higher chances for popping out, but that's if you.
I just needed to get it to the shop.
Exactly, and plus I've run on these several times now, even in my front tire.
You were not
Never
gonna-
your front tire.
Don't it
So
on your front tire.
I mean, the chance of failure is if you get the exact center poked again
Okay.
with the proper
Yeah.
projectile, right?
I
That's going to cause a failure.
I definitely see this as something just to get me to the shop. So
I don't know.
have
Like
to,
I think I still no. I have plug-free tires right now, but I've run with
How
them
long
for a really long
Have
time.
you ever run on? You plugged your tire before?
Oh yeah, sure. Same situation where it's a brand new tire,
Yeah.
and you got to do what you got to do if you don't have any money for another $200 tire
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever. So,
Yeah.
so I did the snake kind,
Yeah,
Okay.
those are great.
and it
Okay.
totally stuck.
And you
You've
can
seen
shove
those?
like 2 or
Yeah.
3 snakes in if you
Oh, I
have
just
to.
did the one.
If the hole is really
Oh,
big.
okay.
Like if you shove
Like the
snake
one I
number 1
created.
and it doesn't work, you
Yeah.
maybe could have shoved 2 snakes in.
Okay, what's a snake one for those of us who don't know what that is?
Oh,
Thanks, Miriam.
go.
That is
It's like a
the-
goopy long thing.
Totally.
But does it have the same kind of like tool that you have to
Not at
poke
all.
in and then okay?
Yeah, it's a 2-part process. First, you remove the thing, and then you ream out. So you're like
Yeah.
smoothing out and making ever so slightly cleaner with a reamer with like barbs. Just
Yeah.
cleaning the hole out a little bit, and then you're shoving this doubled over goopy strip of goop
But
tape.
How does it go? I mean, it doesn't
Well, you
sound like
shove it in.
with like
Wax.
a toothpick or a
No, it's
or
not
a
a tool
chopstick.
for
Oh,
it.
okay, okay.
There's
okay.
a tool for it, and you just shove it in when you pull back out. It's in there,
Okay.
and you sort of trim off the end because you've got these 2 little tails.
You
sticking
trim
out,
off the
right?
mushroom too.
You do trim them. I love the mushroom.
Yeah.
I
Don't
love
get me
the-
wrong.
The snake one sounds a little easier.
The snake one is easy.
Yeah. Okay.
And I rode that for.
I think we should try both kinds on this tire that I'm donating to Moto Lucia.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Are you pronouncing it Moto Lucia or Moto Lucia?
Moto Lucia.
Moto Lucia.
I've completely ruined my naming recognition because my name is Lucy,
Yeah.
but my name is actually Ana Lucia.
Ana
Oh.
Lucia.
And now I've named my shop Moto Lucia So, I just answered everything now.
Woman.
So, yeah, I'm excited about this.
I have one more question for you, Master Mechanic Moto Lucia. All right, so Jay posted on our Facebook page, which is Dames Don't Care Motorcycle Collective.
What?
Dames Don't Care Motorcycle Collective on Facebook. So Jay posted. I'm gonna go ahead and read the whole thing. Some of this is relevant, and some of this is not. But let's see what it sparks in the mind of the Master Mechanic. All right. No pressure.
Listening.
Hello everyone, I am cleaning out the garage this year. I have 2 Honda VFRs, a red 1990 and a white 1993 that need a good home, so I would like to sell them. I am asking $4,000 for both. That's $4K for 2 VFRs. That's my emphasis, because that sounds kind of cool, and I don't have, okay. Anyway, I'm gonna stop drooling. I don't want to separate them, I'm too lazy. That's his words. Both have been in a garage for quite a few years, so they will need a little TLC. They do both run.
They run. They run?
Yeah.
Did they run yesterday?
This is a good question.
All
That
right.
that
Let's
Jay does
assume
not
that's what it
address.
means. Let's assume he means run yesterday.
Let's
Because run
assume
yesterday
it
and
was
ran
started
a year
in the last
ago.
month, maybe. Okay. So
I
but
know
this
this
is,
fella. He's a very together guy, and I bet you anything before he wrote this,
Let's
he
assume
went
they
out and
started.
tried to start it.
But also,
Yeah.
this would be a good point for if you are posting your bikes for sale and you say something like they do run, say when they ran last.
Or just keep that in mind when you're reading the thing.
Yeah. Good question to ask.
Right.
When?
Because
was that?
1 year, up to 6 months, up to 3
Yeah.
to 6 months, completely different story.
So Jay
Gotcha.
goes on. They need some attention to make them roadworthy.
Roadworthy.
The 93 has just under 20K on the clock. That's kind of significant for a bike. And the 90
No,
is
it's
just
not.
under
Not
50K.
for that Honda.
Not for that Honda. That's a great tip to know. 90 clean titles, non-operational again.
That's
apparently.
good.
Yeah.
Non-operational is the classification that you register with the DMV. So you can either have fees due, and you're like, fuck that, and 3 years go by and you owe $450. Or you can pay $17 or whatever.
Yeah,
to the
mine's like
DMV.
$24 for
Yeah.
non-op.
for non-op.
Right.
And so, because if he's not riding them,
Yeah.
like I have 2 bikes that probably I could fix, but I haven't. I've non-op them, and it's, you
So
know.
why non-op instead of just letting it expire?
Save money?
Do we know why? Do we know why are we registering these bikes non-operational at all? Why aren't we just letting the tags expire and then re-registering them at some point in the later?
That's a whole lot of money.
That's
Yeah,
a whole
they
lot of
want-
money.
They
Totally.
want
That's a whole
keep
lot of
track
money.
of you.
Right.
And this
Right.
way you just kind of put it off for a moment, but still remaining legal.
Remaining, yeah,
You know?
remaining legal.
You're like,
yes,
okay, it's fine.
yes.
You know,
Stave
because then
off.
you can just pick it back up whenever you need it.
And you don't need to insure a non-op bike because it's not on the road.
That's up
right?
to you.
Right. But if you,
Oh, for the DMV?
no, yeah, for the
No.
DMV they don't
No.
need. The DMV
No.
doesn't need it. But if you take it on the road, you need to have insurance.
Yeah.
And a lot of people opt to have insurance even on their non-opt bikes,
Okay.
just in case it gets stolen or something happens that
Sure.
isn't covered by homeowners.
That's up
insurance.
to you.
Oh, yeah.
How you
Yeah.
value
Yeah.
it.
All right. He's got something else about a $14 penalty. Long story.
That's not bad.
Okay, good.
So
Deal
what are we?
breaker.
So roadworthy. So like your first question, when did it last run? And what do you think about the roadworthy part?
Well, so if we're looking at this listing, here's what I think. I think
Puppies in the background.
I think first of all, $4,000 for 2 VFRs.
I know,
is
right, dude?
A great deal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Right?
Totally.
They're
Especially,
great bikes.
and we're going to
Totally.
assume that they run.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to assume that they run, which means they ran within the last 3 to 6 months. Like I
6
said,
months.
if they haven't run for like a year, you need a whole other set.
Then you've got carb problems, right?
And you have car problems and you have battery problems, for sure, at the minimum. But, so his VFRs, running, last 6 months, whatever, they just, or yesterday, they just need to get roadworthy. To me, that means the tires need attention. Either
Yeah.
they're so old that the rubber isn't supple anymore, they're definitely flat, or maybe he keeps them pumped, whatever. So, I mean, you could probably ride, honestly, if they run, you could probably just ride off on these 2 VFRs and you'd be just fine. Because they're Hondas.
Because they're Hondas.
Right? Sometimes when they haven't run, you can just kind of tap the carb, put a little fresh gas in there, and they run because they're Hondas. But if you're really going to sell this to like your buddy who wants to go take a trip on it, you got to do the tires. You got to address the tires, and you got to do the brake fluid.
Brake fluid.
Because brake fluid you need to do every 1 to 2 years, whatever. And that's been sitting around. But honestly,
So do the brake fluid even if you
yeah, I would do the brake
riding,
fluid.
non-riding.
Yeah, because they've been parked for what? What did we all say? They've been parked for a while.
You know, yeah, it doesn't exactly say. It's cleaning out the garage.
All right, so then let's assume
I don't know what that
roadworthy
was.
means the typical things that all used bikes need.
Yeah.
In my experience, I think all the used bikes need $8,000 to $1,000 worth of stuff.
Okay.
That means they need an annual service, the fluids. They need a look over. They need chain service. Chances are they need chain sprockets. Chances are they need tires, and it's somewhere around $800
Chain and
to
sprocket.
$1,000.
Especially with like 20K on the clock and 50K on the clock, chain and sprocket.
Exactly. They could have already been done already, but maybe not. But when you're gonna sell a $20,000 mile bike,
Yeah.
when you're gonna sell that, you don't put that money into it. You don't change the tires. You don't change the sprockets because you're never gonna get that money back.
Yeah.
You can't just add
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is a great deal. Anyway, I think
Yeah.
this is a great deal.
I think it's a great deal too.
And VFRs are great. These are carved. He says they run, as long as they've been running.
As long as they've been running, that means that the carbs have not gotten gunked up with old gas, right? Isn't that like one of our bigger concerns with I gotta be honest here with y'all. That is why my GSXRs are not running at the moment, because I forgot to drain the
or put some
carbs.
stable in.
Right. So there's there's
Yeah.
stable in them now, but the carbs
6
are already.
months. After 6 months, you probably clogged those teeny tiny jets, the teeny tiny pilot jets.
Yes.
That you got to either take
Our
out.
little friends.
Our little
Pilot
buddies.
jets.
Our little buddies that just like
Yeah.
they close up forever.
Can I ask you a question that I've always wondered? So I've got sitting in my garage doing absolutely nothing for a while is a carbureted bike, and then I also have a fuel injected bike. Now, obviously, the carburetor bike, not obviously, 'cause it's kind of unlike me, but I did drain the gas
Out of the petcock?
out of the petcock, out of the float bowl.
Out of the float bowl.
Ah,
Yes.
nice. That's it. That's
So
what I needed to do.
so yeah, it's good. But then the fuel injected bike, I've got some stabilizer in there. In my mind, I have this very clear idea of what a carburetor looks like on the inside, but as far as fuel injected, I don't know. It's pure fucking magic. I have no idea how that works.
The fuel injection is only, gas goes bad, right?
Yeah.
And bikes do not like to run on bad gas. The
Yeah.
Honda, however, you could probably do it.
Can we just pee in the gas tank and it would take up?
Maybe. If you can give it that nice caress.
Yeah. Especially if you have if you have that morning after a good bender,
Yeah.
But high ethanol pee.
Exactly.
So the fuel injected bike is less susceptible to the bad gas or the sitting because it doesn't have those tiny passages. It does have little tiny. It has a head. It has a nozzle. So it's got
To spray the gas out.
to spray the gas, and those are tiny holes, but it's forced through. It's like opened and closed with some fuel pressure.
It's not just some gravity happening and
Right.
whatever.
So
going
there is
on
a
in the
fuel
carburetor.
pressure regulator that's forcing that fuel through.
Gotcha.
So you usually don't run into problems unless the gas has gone off, or unless from other sitting conditions, maybe outside, water has gone into the
Water.
gas. Because water settles,
You had a
water's
water issue
heavier.
on one of your bikes, right? The SV was getting water and water was coming through the plug.
No, that had to do with, that is a problem
Oh, the
with
front
SUVs.
plug.
The front plug it's a V, so it's kind of aimed up exactly where your front fender is spewing water into your,
Yeah.
into the
Yeah, those get.
spark
And your
plug
sister
hole.
fixed it. Right? I had the story that you had your sister weld a flap onto the front of it.
No, that was, I was supposed to do a track day, and that's a whole other story.
Okay. A lot of story for a whole
Another
other
episode.
Well, your sister's a welder, so I was like thinking maybe the welding sister. Did
No,
it.
and then I was having a water issue coming in the top seal where the gas tank
Yeah,
a
totally,
gas hole
totally.
is.
Yeah.
After the first rain, a lot of people end up having running issues because of that
Yeah,
gas. 'cause
I had
it's
that on the
heavy.
GSXRs, but not on the K bike, not on the BMW. But on the
Right.
GSXRs, I definitely, it's like very
You know,
flat.
the older GSs, like the R80s and stuff, like they have like some actual low spots built into the tank
Oh wow,
because the water settles at the bottom because it's heavier,
yeah.
and they just settle at the tank, and you can go and like
But your petcock's in a higher spot.
well on those. But most other
Nice.
tanks, especially fuel injected tanks, you know, the tank is tapered down so that the fuel pump is right at the bottom, so you get the best
The most gas.
use of the
Yeah.
gas, right?
Like, so you can go to reserve later,
So if there's
or
any
like
water,
not, don't use your reserve.
It's going right to the fuel.
Oh,
Because my
yeah.
Baja-ish tank on my DRZ, it definitely is at the bottom.
Yeah.
At the bottom, you can lean it over and
Yeah.
splash gas from one side to the other. But the petcock, or where that comes in, it's tall,
Right.
and then
Okay,
it,
yeah.
you know, and then on reserve it's a little bit shorter, but there's
Right.
still an inch or two of tube.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good idea to drain your carb every once in a while because the carb has a low spot built in too to catch bits of junk and
Is
and
that the
schmutz
little
and water.
screw underneath the bottom of the, like the carbs are big square metal, but then there's 4 of them. Like, is that always like right in the middle there? You could just unscrew that.
Well, there are a lot of screws down there. If you just look under there, there's a lot of screws. There's screws
Mine's
that
on
hold
the
the float
side.
bowl off, and then
So maybe get your climber manual and look in your climber manual
or
for
just
which one
look,
on your carb.
because
Okay.
usually at the very bottom of the carb, there is a bigger screw,
Okay.
and it's usually got a little spigot and probably a hose attached to it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And you can just open that all the way. You don't have to take the screw out. You just open that out and let gas spill.
But
and
not
you're
onto
like,
the floor of your garage.
Oh, there it
Dispose
is.
into a
And then
proper
bring
place.
a receptacle.
Bring it to a proper receptacle. Put it in a can. Take it to a proper
But if
receptacle.
there's any water in there, it's going to pour out first, and that's great.
Yeah. So I think we did a really freaking phenomenal tech corner. Thank you for our
Oh,
breakdown of the
pleasure.
week.
Lots
and
of info.
and thank you
Yeah.
for Lucy, Moto Lucia.
Lucia.
Go bring your bikes there. We were in need of a new motorcycle shop. So many have closed down in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
And so,
Yeah.
we were definitely in need of a new one. So,
Good
yay.
Yeah,
things.
thanks.
So Moto Lucia
Thank
on
you.
Shotwell, and
In the old W spot.
yes, where
Oh.
W used
W
to be.
Rentals.
Yeah.
That you
I'm not
would-
doing any rentals. Just only repair. Modern street bikes.
And storage. A little bit of storage.
And storage, totally. And you know, I'm so lucky. I'm so fucking lucky. I feel really grateful to everybody I know and everybody I've met along the way, and my shops that I've worked at, and Wolfgang from W, because he really kept the door open on his way out, which is sad and tragic.
He retired. He didn't die.
No, he retired, and it sucks. I mean, the way he had to go out from the pandemic, you know, shutting down, business is dead, that sucks. That's
right.
a crappy way to go out, but
Right.
he's really fucking happy right now.
Oh,
Okay.
great.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
I mean,
Happy
you know,
ending.
It was a bad way to
Happy
leave,
ending.
but where he is now is just perfect. And it was the same kind of easy perfection that left the door open for me to have Mona Lucia. And I literally feel like I have like little luckiness right now.
Excellent. I'm very grateful.
And you
So I'll do it as long as I can.
and you've gotten busy enough to actually hire help. You gotta.
I would think that I would like to do that.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to do that.
Yeah.
I'm really afraid.
Huh. Maybe you could like how hairdressers rent out a chair. Would you rent out a lift to a
Well,
garage
I'm really a
mechanic?
control freak.
Okay, so no.
But I do
But this is
have-
a great thing to have in a
I
mechanic.
do have a couple of friends that I can call and say, "Oh my gosh, you know, can you help me get a couple of the jobs done this weekend? Because I'm
Nice.
so behind."
Nice.
But really, I'm just I've been fixing bikes for a long time, and I've been doing my own thing for a long time, but now that it's officially business and you know, rent has to be paid, stuff like that. I'm
So
trying to find a balance.
you
about
changed
how
the
much
tire
I
of
can
my
do
BMW.
and how much I can to keep my sanity.
Yes, sanity, and you're still a parent and have responsibilities there. And I just wanted to ask you a little bit about the kinds of bikes you work on, because you know, Beamer, you changed the tires on my Beamer. The BMWs have like a whole computer on board. You have.
In fact, the BMWs are the easiest to negotiate the computer system with, because I have the software.
Nice to know.
I have the software for a handful of bikes. I had to invest in a software,
Okay.
in a diagnostic tool,
Okay.
and it was one of the biggest things I bought, and I really fretted about which one to get. But anyway, I got it, and I'm glad for it, and it's paid for itself already, because it's a huge part of modern street bikes, which is what I do.
Yeah.
I've worked on all the things, and
Modern street bikes, including Ducatis.
Yeah, I mean, my specialty is Ducati, because that's what I had most of my experience with.
That seems like such a wacky, I don't know. They sound so weird. Why do they sound so weird?
That's another episode.
Okay, in 10 seconds or less. I know, it's so...
The older Ducatis, which
Okay,
turns out
okay.
they're old now, but
Okay.
they didn't used to be, have a drive button.
I was gonna say 2 words or less.
Yeah.
Describe why they sound weird.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing. Less heat in the clutch, less clutch material in the oil. Quicker changing.
Oh. Okay.
Race bikes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
In and out. But so road street bikes.
But most of them all have wet clutches now.
Okay.
Yeah, me, street bikes.
So I love this. All right. So we've talked Moto Lucia to death, but we didn't talk as much about dames. Emily, who are the dames?
Let's see. Boy, we started. Miriam, what did we decide? Was it 2010?
Right, when was the Pomona?
The Pomona, the SFMC Pomona.
Right, I want to say 2009, maybe?
Adventure 2009, yeah. Abby and I were on our way to Pismo Beach with the SFMC, and we had, I don't know what we were doing. We were fucking off, basically. We kind of ended up, they wanted us to go with them, and we were like, ugh, we don't know what we're doing. We're just going to ride around in circles, I guess. And we went off on an adventure by ourselves, and they finally were like, okay, you can just do what you're going to do. You're both good riders.
Dames
And
don't care.
We didn't care about your pre-planned route. We didn't care about your adventure at all. Me and Abby were off doing our own thing. And so we, you know what, though? Prior to that, we had discussed doing this Dames Don't Care thing. And having a women's motorcycle group, and we had just finally arrived at a name we liked, or we both could live with, and then we went on this Pomona trip. So there's actually a picture. It's a great picture. It's panoramic of all the motorcycle clubs in the world, it seems. And at the end, there's me and Abby with our hotel room towel that we put electrical tape on to say "Dames Don't Care," and everyone else has their big fancy banners. We've got our hotel towel.
I'm glad you had enough electrical tape to make
I
that
know,
happen.
exactly. There was some duct tape in there too.
Roadside repair kit.
Roadside repair kit. No zip ties though. And so we, so after that it was on, and we started it with the idea that we need to encourage women to ride, because so many women are intimidated by motorcycling. They're intimidated by having to be out on the road on their own, even, and a lot of the times, I'm not bashing on guys here, but a lot of the times guys are rather
Dick swinging.
Aggressive?
and they will try to show off rather than aid you in learning how to ride.
Or explain something that you didn't ask for.
Explain,
Oh,
that's
my
very
God.
common.
I
Very common. So
Yes, thank you. I don't need an MSF class.
Yes, exactly. And so, but we wanted to encourage women to come out, because we recently met a bunch of women who A, either said, I want to start riding a motorcycle, or B, already had one but were nervous because they had only ever ridden with their super aggressive boyfriend
Yeah.
who really couldn't stop pulling on the throttle, and they were nervous about the whole thing.
Yeah.
So exactly. You miss Miriam's hand gesture. But you might be able to guess what it was.
Yes.
So we started this Facebook group, and it started off with, we'd forcibly add our friends onto it, because you can do that, which is kind of creepy.
Yeah.
And so we added all these friends to it, and lo and behold, like, good conversations were being had,
Yeah.
and people were interested,
Like this one.
and they wanted to be a part of it, which I couldn't believe. And so, before long it was 100 members, and then 500 people,
Yeah.
and now it's up to 1,100 people
Oof.
on the Facebook page. So, and there are fantastic conversations happening. There was one recently about where do you keep your motorcycle insurance information and your
Yeah.
registration,
Yeah.
Things like that I just always didn't.
Yeah.
And hope for the best.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to have people discuss and tell me what they do.
Yeah. Or how to get back on after a crash.
How to get
Oh,
back
that was a
on.
good
Yeah,
conversation.
that was a
Yeah.
good conversation.
Yeah.
So,
And it's men and women.
yes,
Yes,
and
yeah,
absolutely.
everyone.
This is like a
All
total
inclusive.
female-focused show, but Dames Don't Care, despite the name, is completely inclusive.
Yeah.
It's all about whoever is interested in riding. Actually, we
Yeah.
decided to, the Dames actually stood for, what is it? Something inspired motorcycle riders.
And it's a DAMES
Damn
acronym.
Awesome Motorcycle
Damn awesome.
Enthusiast. That's what it was.
Ah,
Damn
nice.
Awesome Motorcycle Enthusiast. Thank you, Chris Simmons Morgan, our
Yes.
current Dame of the Year.
It's fucking perfect.
And
that woman.
so it's anyone who wants to ride a motorcycle, anyone who's an experienced motorcycle rider, anyone that has something to say about motorcycles.
And you
Yeah.
don't even have to know a chick who's in it.
No, not
Yeah,
at
yeah.
all.
You can just be a random
Just
guy.
yeah.
You
I
can.
started on a scooter. You guys said you didn't care.
Right,
Nope, we don't care.
Panda's like, we don't care.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
We do I showed the sales that like Jay posted, like I got 2 VFRs. We do have just the one rule on the Facebook.
and even that's fluid. It's if you come on to post your ads, or you're selling something, try to also post something really cool about motorcycles, or
Yeah.
not, whatever,
Or start a
about
convo,
something.
or
Start a conversation,
Do
whatever.
because
Because
it's,
it'll turn into
Yeah.
a
we're not spamming.
Classified.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're not spamming. We're not
exactly.
classifieds. We're about the community.
Yeah. So we're just trying to develop the motorcycle community, and we do all sorts of events and things. I mean, less so obviously with the pandemic, but we started our first annual event that we started was the Sadie Hawkins Ride.
That's how I got.
Woo! Burned out 2 clutches.
It was, and we're still doing it, but it is a blast. We just ride through the city as quickly as possible. Theoretically, we could be blowing all the stop signs, blocking
Theoretically,
traffic.
hypothetically,
It's a hooligan run.
It's possible.
it's possible. It might be
It's possible.
a hooligan ride.
So we just get through San Francisco, or we try to just get through San Francisco as quickly as we can in the most circuitous route you can imagine.
Yep.
We are on, there's a little dirt road you might not know about in San Francisco.
In the city.
In the city, in San Francisco, that's pretty cool. There are obviously lots of hills. We've got, places where you can jump if you were so interested.
We
I think I
have
know a couple
long.
of those.
Yeah, exactly.
We have nice places where you need to practice all your the Twisty Vermont.
Twisty,
Yeah.
Vermont.
All the cool neighborhoods. North Beach,
Every
Every
cool neighborhood.
Financial District, Chinatown, everything.
Yes, through everything. So that was our first yearly event. I can't even remember. I think we're on the 8th annual right
I think
now.
so. 8 or 9.
Yeah, 8 or 9. And so, and we have this route that we planned out a while ago that's just amazing, and there's no point in changing it unless we have to, because it's
Last
so
year
fun.
we did East Bay, right? East Bay Sadie.
We did actually last
time.
year, because we were trying to socially distant a bit more than we would if it was San Francisco, Sadie Hawkins. We went to the Delta,
Yeah.
and we rode the Delta. We
It was
took
too
3
hot
ferries.
for the BMW.
Yeah. Oh, is that what the problem
Yeah, it
was?
was too hot for my. I know. The BMW is a cold babe. Cold-hearted.
Talk about the Halloween aspect of this.
Oh,
okay?
yeah. And then it started off, actually, the first year it was April Fool's Day. And so we encouraged everybody to play a joke. Like I had made you know when you blow out eggs like when you're a little kid, and I
Yeah.
filled them with glitter and flour.
Oh, cool.
And except that I wore a tube top dress specifically so that I could reach in and throw eggs. But the first thing I did was lean really hard on my tank and just get this spray of glitter and flour in my face, and then I was covered with it. But we had so much fun. People were putting, this is a good one, you put maple syrup underneath, or fake maple syrup, is probably a little more economical, underneath someone's engine case so it looks like they're leaking oil. Somebody put a condom on somebody's handlebar.
Is that
It
where
was-
the dildo on the tank came from?
No, that was many
that
years
was many
later.
years later. Okay.
So we started off on April Fool's, and then it gradually got pushed back for some reason I can't remember, and ended up about Halloween. So we would encourage people to wear costumes, and varying levels of success with that. But we
You
have
can see me as a Wonder Woman costume on the Dames
Instagram.
Don't Care SF Instagram.
That's
yeah. So we
Yeah.
So yeah, if you come on that, please wear costumes. It's so much more fun. It confuses the police so much more.
Yes.
If we've got like,
It's shiny.
we had
It
a
doesn't
banana
ex-
one year.
The banana is great.
The banana. I looked like a cowboy. I had like a cowboy hat on.
Well, you and your sister have done some stellar
Twinsy.
stuff.
Me and my sister
Twinsy
do
outfits,
twinsy
yeah.
outfits. So yeah, but it's very it's awesome. So we did that, and then we started doing, and then it's kind of midway through the Dames Don't Care Odyssey, we started doing the Treasure Island TT, so Treasure Island Tourist Trophy, and it is a completely illegitimate in every way race,
Which no longer happens.
which unfortunately
No.
can't happen.
We'll find a
anymore.
place.
We'll find a place.
We need to, yeah. But
And-
Treasure Island's completely different.
Yeah, Treasure Island just changed entirely, but we would block an intersection and ride mini motos, so 125 and under cc 4-stroke, 80 and
Yeah.
under 2-stroke, and we'd ride them as fast as we could around this little track designed by pros, and I mean
Yeah.
literally
Like literal
professionals.
pros, yeah.
And we would just encourage people to, and this would take place at night, and this would also be varying levels of light
And weather.
and weather. It rained 2 of the 3 times we
I
did it,
know, scary.
and there's a ramp, and so we've got a pro class, and believe it or not, it attracted, again, literally professionimals.
They get to
And-
race their paddock bikes.
They get to race their paddock bikes, and it was amazing who showed up. People that I'm impressed. And then we have a
Little fangirling going
exactly
on.
we have the novice class, the clubman class, and that one is actually also really awesome track day. It tends to be people that go to like
Yeah.
supermoto track days
Yeah.
and things like that. Who are not afraid of racing. It's amazing.
And the guy in the banana costume.
The guy in the banana costume is a buddy of mine.
Didn't you ride in the banana costume at the Moto Classic?
Yes, he
Yep.
did. And
We had scooter races too.
hey,
That's
scooter
right.
races, which are probably the most entertaining thing for me to watch, because there's always just our friend David is just insane, and he jumps the jump on his scooter and destroys it every year, and it's amazing.
Plastic parts.
Plastic
falling out.
everywhere.
Plastic people everywhere.
But it's back by the time the next Treasure Island comes around. We've been doing it about once every 2 years.
Yeah.
And then we have the Dames class, which is the women's only class. That's always fun to watch, because it is a mixture of women who are nervous about riding in general, but they're pretty comfortable on their little bikes.
Yeah.
And then there's also racers who will just blow everybody out of the water. And actually so that's really fun. And then the last one we did, we actually had a kids class,
We did.
because
We did.
yeah, we had a kids class, and it was so cool because
Yeah.
I think
I was disappointed. Disappointed to miss that.
Yeah.
it was so
It was
good,
fun.
so good.
Yeah.
Cool.
So-
Sweet.
So we do continually take part in stuff, and then we also try, we're not that good at it, but we try to do about a ride a month. We're going to get better at it this time, I promise. Now that the
Meeting
pandemic's over.
every month would be good too.
Meetups,
meetings,
yeah.
Meetups every
Meetups.
month. We'll try to get that started again once everything feels safe.
Yeah.
And and then we've taken part in a couple of great events. The Women Riders World Relay, kind of a mouthful.
That was great.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We were all in there.
And
Rose made the route, man.
Yeah.
She like a big group of us, a few of us,
We-
5 or 6 actually did the San Francisco to LA part.
Yeah. We did but it was basically the idea of it was so cool. It was started by a woman, Liza, in Santa Cruz, and a woman named Haley in
Britain, someplace. North
somewhere.
England, someplace, yeah.
and it was riding around the world, passing a baton between groups of women, trying to get into as many countries as they could.
Yeah.
And
Countries where women don't ride.
Where women
Countries
don't
where
ride.
you like
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia and parts of the Middle East, and there's actually Google has some good movie clip of it, and I really like that. I mean, Google being the faceless corporate thing, I like that they did actually show the global South in their movie of the Women Riders World Relay, and not so much about this thing, because there is a very white face on motorcycling a lot, and I like that they pointed out motorcycling is more than what people assume it is, and motorcyclists are more than who we're assumed to be.
It's also in Australia. I'm just kidding. So we planned a cool party for that.
We
when
did?
they came
On
to San
Treasure Island?
Francisco
That was
on
an awesome
Treasure
party.
Island. It was
Yeah,
super
Moto Guild.
fun.
Yeah, it was
At
cool.
Moto Guild in Treasure Island.
We had one of our dames.
I have a picture of us together. We had the same color
You had
hair.
green
Yeah.
hair.
We both had green hair.
That's right. We had so one of our dames, a couple of our dames are gear makers, but Carlene was there with her Raven Rover
Yes,
stuff.
Fashion
yes.
show. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
There's a fashion show
Raven
for women.
Rover.
That's Raven Rover.
As you probably are aware, or at least the women are aware, it is difficult as fuck to find
Yeah.
gear to wear, no matter your body type.
Yeah.
It's really hard to find something.
I
that fits you
literally went
properly.
into the child section
Yeah.
to get armored gloves, because in the children's section they have like children ride ATVs, so they have like child size armored gloves for ATVs, and that's what fit me,
Right.
right? Because come on.
Not
Yeah.
that size 4 pink Stella.
Yeah, trying to find something. I mean, trying to find something that fits.
We're gonna have a gear episode.
We're gonna have
Oh,
we
for sure.
can do
For
a
sure.
whole show on
There
gear,
are a lot of
gear
women
challenges.
doing a lot of gear
Yeah,
centric
more and more.
things.
Mhm.
I know of 3. I know Brittany Morrow has a whole gear.
Oh, okay.
That's right. She's a safety
Joanne
guru.
Dawn is
Yep.
Yeah,
gear
gear
chick.
chick.
Yeah.
Wizard.
Totally.
Joanne is like a
CHIC,
wizard.
right? Isn't it
Yeah,
gear
CHIC.
Yeah.
You can follow her. You can find her anywhere. Currently,
Yeah.
she's like heading Webzilla Gear, and she just got
Yes.
into dirt. So now we can look forward to
Yeah.
her doing all
Cool.
kinds of dirt gear. Joanne, I love you. And then Liz Gear. Right?
Yeah, yeah,
Liz
yeah.
Gear is trying to
LIZ.
get together. Yeah,
Yeah.
trying to get together a database of women's input on gear so that
Yeah.
it can be put
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
So that was, and and actually the gear thing was partly like when Haley talks about why she started the Women Riders World Relay. Initially, it was this thing just to show vendors.
Yeah.
We're here. We need
Yeah.
gear,
Mhm,
but then through the course of the baton passing, it became so much more. It just was so much more about like how motorcycling gives so many people around the world the freedom, and connecting stories that we didn't know about. There's a women only scooter ride service. I think it's Singapore, where there's the sexual harassment of women on the buses is really rampant, and so then so they have these like scooter rides, kind of like Lyft here, but
Wow,
they're
just
scooters to get
for
through
women.
traffic, and then
Oh my
but then there's
God.
women there, so the women would take the scooter ride like a Lyft kind of thing to go through traffic on the scooter, and then they would be getting harassed by like hey by the guys that are giving them these rides, because it doesn't have this like security distinction,
And
like
it's very intimate.
and it's a little intimate.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
there's a women only scooter service like Lyft, and so that kind of story where what we need, giving us the freedom, giving us freedom from some of the toxic patriarchy that occurs, that occurs, and women in Saudi Arabia that are disguising themselves so that they can race.
I watched a video around that time about a woman who said that when she rides worldwide all the time, but that she had a certain outfit that she could put on underneath her gear, so that when she arrived at this place, wherever the place was that she needed to obscure her figure. It was just a long shirt that covered her butt. She could wear pants all day long. She could ride her bike all day long. But as soon as she got off and took off that gear, she had to be covering her butt. So she just had this long, extra long shirt that she would untuck.
Yeah, because
cover her
the
butt.
hips
So
hips
she
don't
could try to
lie.
have this whatever.
There was, do you remember that ride that we took to, it's a sidebar, women riders worldly late, but about hips don't lie. We did a Dames ride up to Berryessa, and we passed a women riders club of bicyclists, and one of the bicyclists was like so impressed that there was like these motorcycles zooming up to like Berryessa, and I was like, oh my god, we have motors, you're on bicycles, you know, and they're like zooming up to Berryessa. But I remember one of them was like, I knew they were women.
Yes.
I knew they were women. Look at those butts.
And it's true. I've heard this before. That's how you can tell.
That reminds me of the favorite thing anybody ever said to me on the bike.
Oh.
I was stopped at a stop sign, and a car pulled up next to me, and he came out the window, and he started at my boot. And he looked up my leg, to my knee, to my hip, to my face. And then when he saw my face, he Googled it, and he said, oh, I knew that wasn't no man. It was the best. It also reminds me of the little graphic that I saw on the International Motorcycle Show. I don't know if you've seen it online. It looks like a handwritten. It's a really simple thing. There's two motorcyclists, one on the left, one on the right, and one on the right you can totally see it's like a vintage bike or whatever it's. But the front, it's the left picture. It's a front view of just a motorcyclist, and you know what? There's boob curves right there.
Oh. Nice.
Love the boobs.
Love the boob curve. That's rad.
Boob curves.
That's rad.
All right, ladies.
During
So
the pandemic, we did one ride for BLM.
Oh, we did do one BLM ride that was really
Yeah.
amazing. Super
Yeah.
amazing. It was two more dames who,
Yeah, Jane
and Kimber.
and
Kimber.
Kimber organized that, and actually it was designed
It
to
got
be.
big.
It got big.
It got big. A bunch
It got
of
really
groups.
big.
Like they invited groups that were riders of color, and they actually designed a route that was about 8.5 miles long,
wow.
because of what happened to George Floyd, and to also just reinforce we were doing this because of what happened.
So
to
I'm
George
going to sit on this part because I do want to add that we incorporated the SFMC to be blockers
Yes.
on the
Yes.
Women's
Right.
World Relay.
That's
and,
right.
And
Right,
on the BLM, a little less so on BLM. We didn't want to get political. That was a big thing when I presented it to
Sure.
the SFMC. But, you know, Ben Berliner was there too. We had blockers, and like for the WWRW was
WR,
really hard to say. I'm always gargling. But
Sandy started
we
calling
had
it
some
Roar.
awesome blockers for that. So another shout out to the other
Absolutely.
motorcycle
Colin.
club that I
Colin.
belong with, which is the SFMC. This is
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Haley did love to have somebody. One of your guys actually blocked a bus on the Golden Gate
Dubner,
Bridge.
oh my
Dubner
god.
blocked a bus on the
Nice.
Golden
The
Gate
dude.
Bridge.
Done.
And yeah.
It's pretty
Nicely
spectacular.
done. That's rad.
I'll never
That's
forget
nice.
that.
And actually, I appreciated, like when I was scouting the ride, I appreciated going on the ride with one of the SFMC guys who'd done a lot of designing of the rides. 'Cause
Casey.
I was kind of like tailing it down, like the tour of San Francisco for the Women Riders World Relay from Marin to Treasure Island to the party. Trying to make it doable by Harleys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a thing. It's a
That's the
thing.
thing.
And also
It's a thing.
doable by people who aren't used to riding hills all the time.
Right,
Yes.
which is a San Francisco rider. It never occurred to me, but it is a thing, and I have a silly little saying about that. Hills are like tits. Everyone should learn how to handle them. Thank you.
Dang,
But
we
I think-
needed a riff right then.
We needed a give me a read me a shot.
So we have spent a lot of time talking about all things motorcycle, and we've got so much more to say. So please tune in
Wait.
for more. There's way too many things to say.
Yeah.
So yes, please tune in for more. Again, this is Emily, Rose, and Lucy from the Dames Don't Care Motorcycle Collective.
And Miriam
And Miriam, of course.
and Ramon in the background.
And
That's
Ramon
right.
over there in the
And
background.
Spike the dog.
And Yep, coming to you from San Francisco, California.
Ramatouchalali Land.
If you need to get a hold of us, again, Dames Don't Care is our Facebook, Dames Don't Care SF is our Instagram, and Dames Do Care is a place you can find us on the interweb. So thank you so much for listening.
We are the dames. We are the dames.
Thank you, ladies.
We are the dames. We are the dames.